And we are excited to, we have a very special guest on the line with us, right now. She has been a pet sitter for quite a while. She has done it for several celebrities, and she has also written a book titled The Pet Sitter's Tale.
Deep.
Her name is Laura Vorreyer. Laura, did I say that right?
No, you're right. You got it. It's like warrior with a V. Vorreyer.
Warrior with a V.
Vorreyer.
How are you today?
I'm doing awesome, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from LA, the place where you'll be coming out here. Nick, yeah, I'm actually a little outside of LA. I'm near Calabasas. I'm sure you've heard of that.
I have
area.
heard of that.
I've literally never heard of that. So before we get into asking you some pretty deep questions about what you do, I don't know if you know this or not, but Nick happens to be a phenomenal rapper, and you've been a pet sitter for Dr. Dre. So we're thinking that maybe you can give him the hookup to get a little record deal.
Yes.
I'm happy to slip you his number.
No, actually, I'll be out in your neck of the woods tomorrow for a week, so I will be sure to drop by with my mixtape.
Most people don't realize this, but when we do an audio check before every episode, Nick lays the bars.
I drop freestyles every podcast before we go live.
He's actually pretty decent.
Thank you.
You do sound good. I heard you in the promo. That's awesome. Go for it. That's place to be. Bring out your tapes. Show people what you got. That's awesome.
Yeah, if dog training never works out, I can pretty much guarantee you rapping won't either. So Laura, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, I think we do pretty much the same things, except you've probably never painted a poodle's nails. So I'm in the dog business the way you guys are in the dog business, but I don't specialize in training. So I do, a little bit of basic obedience training, but I do mostly dog walking, pet sitting, overnight boarding, overnight stays in people's homes. And my core of my business is the one-on-one private dog walking. So I don't do the group hikes. I don't do off-leash adventures. I just kind of do the private one-on-one, which most people seem to like. Come out to their house, pick up their dog once or twice a day, take them on a little adventure. And, that's pretty much what I've been doing for the last 15 years.
And tell us how you got into it.
Totally accidentally. So, anything can happen. I came out to LA from Chicago. I was a makeup artist in Chicago and doing pretty good at it, good enough to think oh, now I got to make the leap to Hollywood. It's going to be awesome. And came out to LA and just failed miserably, looking at living in my car, honestly. And I had a Beetle at the time. And the only thing that I could think of is why didn't I get a bigger car when I had the chance? Nice. So I was doing pretty badly and working in retail, which, kind of sucked. And this gal came into this place I was working one day. I worked at Barney's, New York. And this woman came in. She turned out to be an actress and said, "Hey, would you do my makeup on a small film I'm doing? I couldn't pay you, but it might be awesome for you to meet some people." I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I showed up the day and she had her little dog in the trailer with her. And she's like, "While I'm on set, you can't come, na, but can you walk my dog?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." So, she'll give you a little extra cash walk with the dog. So I loved her dog, a little dog named Abby. So I'm walking Abby on this lot and I'm thinking, I don't want to get busted. Someone's going to ask me what I'm doing here. What am I going to say? No credentials. So I'm walking the dog, keeping to myself, and on this other trailer comes Paula Poundstone, another famous comedian.
Oh, no way.
And I'm okay, I am no way going to say anything to Paula Poundstone. Just don't make eye contact. She can have me thrown out of here. She comes right up to me. She's like, "Hey, what a cute dog." And I'm like, "Thanks." And she's like, "Are you a professional dog walker?" And I was like, oh man, this is my shot. I could pitch her, tell her I'm a makeup artist and I know it's gonna go nowhere fast. And then I was like, "Yeah, I am. How did you tell?" She's like, "You're just so professional walking that dog. So he's really obeying you and everything. Could you walk my dog?" And I'm like, "Hell yes, I could. When can I start?"
Nice.
And that's how it started. Just really it's just kind of organically snowballed from there and never looked back, man. Just totally embraced it.
So it's pretty much word of mouth after that, huh?
I kind of showed up at Paula's every day and sometimes twice a day, and she had this huge, unruly dog. I'll never forget it when I first went and met with her in the backyard. He came bounding over this huge fence up to me, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to kill me right in front of this client. And she's like, take him for a walk, see how it goes. And he was just yanking my arm out, dragging me down the street the whole time. I'm like, oh God, I got to learn something about how am I going to keep this dog controlled. So I think that her neighbors saw that I was able to get the dog under control and walk him and be reliable and dependable. And they started asking Paula, hey, who's the woman you have, walk the dog? She's really good with you. And she just gave out my name, and it just snowballed. Yeah, it just happened like that.
So that's pretty awesome. I love hearing entrepreneur stories. And a lot of them, I feel start off in a similar fashion as they kind of failed their way to success. So, I think that's pretty awesome. How many clients in an average week would you say that you walk?
Well, I have a bunch of, that's Business 101. So as soon as I started getting a little big, and I just made so many mistakes in the beginning. If I could go back and do it all over again, I would do so many things different, but I didn't set any boundaries. In LA, you guys know, it's really sprawling. So whoever called me and wanted their dog walk, I'd be like, yes, and I'd drive there. So I was driving sometimes, honestly, 200 and 300 miles a day, because I would just drive to someone's house, walk their dog, and then drive in the other opposite direction and walk someone else's dog, and then drive to the ocean and walk. I mean, I was driving everywhere to walk dogs. So maybe at days when I was doing pet sitting and just dog walking, 16 stops a day.
Wow. So that's pretty much is that from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. type setup?
That's from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and then sleeping at someone else's house. Totally. You're doing it around the clock. I'm sure you guys know. It takes over your life.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. Well, the other thing that I was offering is the overnight stays in people's homes. And so I had a lot of clients that were going, out of town, or they were going to another country, and they're like, Laura, stay in my house in the Palisades or Malibu or whatever. And can you do some ancillary stuff? I'll give you a stipend, pay some bills, make sure the stuff in the house happens, and, live with my dog. And I'd be like, okay, cool. So I was doing that a lot. I did that so much. I mean, I actually thought about giving up my apartment to do that. Wow. Yeah. Then I just was like, oh man, I can't be without a home, a place to go. What if I'm, So I did that for a long time, and that was a big thrust of the business for a long time.
So you're still actively doing it daily, or?
Yeah, I still do it, and I have 2 locations. I know you guys have tons and tons of locations, but I have 2 locations. So I have a location here, it's close to the valley, and then I have one that's in Marina Del Rey, and that's actually a location my daughter manages. So.
Oh, very cool. So you have teams working for you as well, then.
Absolutely. You have to.
Yeah.
You do so much stuff yourself, right?
That's true.
Is it tough for you to find people that you trust, with other dogs and stuff?
Oh my gosh. See, this is one of the biggest chapters in my book. It's called Dog Walkers. This has been the bane of my existence since I've started hiring people. It has been really one shit show after the other. Sometimes you get fantastic people who are just amazing, and then immediately they move on to something else, or they start their own dog walking business. Just, hey, so easy. The hiring is really, it's been a comical challenge sometimes, because they can really undo your business. And in fact, I write this a lot in the book as just these things that people do. So now when I hire people, the last thing I say to anyone I hire is, don't do anything you wouldn't want to see yourself doing in court on a camera. You don't want to see yourself on that closed circuit television, or someone captured you doing something that you're not going to be proud of in front of a jury. So I just, everyone, there's baby cameras, there's nanny cams everywhere. So just please be careful. It is tough. And this is such a litigious society. So that keeps me up at night. This is the stuff that keeps me up at night. Seriously.
Do you have a favorite breed that you like to walk and pet sit?
So I always think, this is my theory, that people love the dogs that they grew up with kids. And for me, I'm no different. I grew up with black labs. We had 2 black labs when I grew up. So when a client calls and they're like, hey, Laura, I got a black lab, I'm like, oh, black lab. Those are my favorite. of course, I have a Chiweenie. I mean, I have a black lab, but that's my dream dog, like a black lab. I also love, I love all the dogs, but the black lab is like my favorite. I know, what do you guys like? German Shepherds?
I personally have a Belgian Malinois, so I would have to go with that. And then I would assume Joe's going to say the same.
Yeah. I mean, I like training a Mal. They're just very high drive and energetic and extremely intelligent. But they can be assholes too. So sometimes I'm the opposite of that as well, depending on, what kind of mood that Mal is in.
Sometimes
that
Joe's,
specific day.
Malinois, sometimes Malinois.
Trademark it, Sean.
Trademark.
So do you have any Malinois clients?
I don't. And, I've heard of that breed, but I don't think that's like a popular breed out here.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good, right? We had like a phase a couple years ago where tiny dogs were like all the rage.
The purse dogs.
Purse dogs, right? And puggles and pugs. And now, then after that, then the doodles. Like everyone had a doodle.
I like doodles. Doodles, as I always say, my running theme in the world of dog training is any breed of dog that has the name Oodle in it is generally very intelligent. Like standard poodles, labradoodles, golden doodles, all of those Oodle breeds I've personally found are generally very intelligent and learn very quickly. Have you experienced that or no? Not the LA ones.
Well, absolutely. Standard poodle, they say is the smartest breed. And behind that, they say the boxer, but I can't believe that boxers seem a little, not that smart, but, poodles, definitely standard poodles, smart and devious.
Yeah. Very intelligent. I mean, they're so intelligent it gets them in trouble, I feel like. Just like people. Just like kids.
Right. They're oh God. I used to have a client with standard poodle and I just loved her dog, a big white dog, and she was so smart and she would just come and sit by you and put her head right in your lap and her face like would fit like right into the thigh and she would just stare at me with these big liquidy eyes. Like, don't you just fall in love with all the dogs that you deal with? I mean, they're like all yours, right?
No.
No.
The majority of them, I will agree.
The majority
with
of them for sure. I mean,
some of them you're like, oh, I never want to see that dog again as long as I live.
It happens rarely.
Yeah,
but
it's pretty rare, but it happens for sure.
Especially the ones you get that, they want to bite your face off, the entire time.
Yeah.
That's usually not, exciting. I guess it is in a trainer sense, but I don't know.
You get of adrenaline, but now, see, I have a policy. If your dog bites me, it's done. We're not moving forward. But
yeah.
I assume as trainers, do you have the same policy, or you're like, okay, your dog bit me, he's just testing the parameters or whatever?
Yeah, we still, we don't have any policy against anything when it comes to dogs, really. I mean, generally people's like, hey, they'll call or email and be like, hey, my dog's bit like 3 people, put a person in the hospital, stitches, killed another dog, whatever. And we're like, oh, this is the program that you need. So.
Well, and the truth is, we're one of the few trainers,
that work
that actually will take on those dogs.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Tiffany has one right now.
Yeah, she does.
Some savage German Shepherd that just broke the owner's windshield trying to get to a trainer. So.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
no.
we work with those dogs. So you don't, work with people aggressive dogs, but I assume, do you get much dog aggression?
Yeah, we get some dog aggression. I mean, I've worked, so I've gotten bitten a couple times on the job, and 2 of the times it was by a Wheaten Terrier. And, I don't know what's wrong with those dogs. But my dog's name was Bob, and it stood for
Bob.
Best of Breed. Best of Breed, his name was Bob. He was such a dick. Like, every time that I saw him, he would bite me, but she would always make such an excuse, and such a nice lady, like, oh, he's just scared, he's just acting out or whatever. And like, I would walk him, I would feed him, I would think that things were going really well, and then he would just bite me.
Yeah.
And like the second time it happened, I'm like, you know what?
Bob is not for me.
That Bob is the best of breed, okay?
You're like, that's questionable.
B-O-B? I don't think so. And so I kind of let people go when they bite me. I give them once or twice, but I got bit by a huge Great Dane once, and yeah, it kind of, for me, it scares you, you know, like I get scared. I got scared when the dog bit me, and I remember I had to go to the next client, and I was shaking in my car, and I'm like, I don't want this next dog to pick up on the energy of like, now I'm freaking terrified that all the dogs are going to bite me. So it like really shook my confidence for a little while, and I just had to get over it. But it's scary when you get bit. Like, you know, you guys are doing something and I respect it immensely, completely on the opposite end of the spectrum from me. So I'm doing like poodle parties. I'm going to dog parties. Like I'm doing, like now it's wedding season. I do a lot of wedding wrangling for people that want their dog to be like in the wedding.
Carry the ring or whatever.
Yeah. So I'll stand by with the dog. I'll make sure the dog is looking good and being calm and it's walked and can walk down the aisle with the bride or be the ring bearer, like you said. But I am not getting in the ring with any super aggressive dogs breaking any kind of windshields. Like I'm out. You know?
It's funny because when we get new trainers and I always tell them, I'm like, it's not a, you know, you chose this career field. It's not a matter of if you get bit, it's a matter of when you get bit. And that's what's going to determine your passion at that point. You know, it's specifically for training dogs.
As I always say is don't be a firefighter if you're afraid of fires.
Right.
So don't be a dog trainer if you're afraid to get bit.
Yeah. So, but I would imagine that it's a little bit easier, when, you know, pet sitting and walking that, you know, you don't really have the capabilities to turn that switch off at that point.
Yeah.
And I don't blame you. The last thing I would want to do is go for a walk around the neighborhood with an untrained dog and get, you know, mauled in my knee.
So out of all the dogs that you're walking, what percentage would you say are like decently trained?
Maybe 75%.
Oh, okay, so that's awesome. Wow. That's awesome. Nice. So a high percentage.
Oh yeah. You don't want, I mean, you know, I work with a lot of trainers. So what I do is I do, a free meet and greet. So it's free. I come meet with you. I say, let's make sure everyone's tail's wagging when we meet. It's for me to bring the walker there. We're kind of all assessing, is it going to work?
Like an eval.
Yeah.
Exactly, evaluation. So, like, we are gonna, like, size up the dog. Is the dog aggressive? If the dog's aggressive and his dog's a dick at that initial meeting, forget it, we're out. Like, I don't want to deal with that because it's such, like, a hassle if an employee gets bit for me. Like, and then you gotta deal with the owner and the insurance and medical procedures. It's just, this is not, like, my, like, thing. So, first of all, we make sure everyone's tail's wagging when we meet, but then we set up the schedule and we kind of like see how the dog is on the leash. So most dogs are already leash trained and they're like cool to go for the walk. But if it's a puppy or a dog that they just adopted and it's not been leash trained, I'll get my trainer in and we'll do basic like obedience training and leash training because there's nothing worse than walking a dog that's not trained for the leash and they're pulling your arm out and they're going in circles and they're attacking every dog that walks by and it's
the dog's walking you.
Oh, and that happened to me a lot in the beginning, like a lot. And then, you know, you learn about the tools of the trade and like what you can do to help the dog learn how to get used to walking on the leash and what kind of collars and what kind of halters and what kind of commands. So you kind of just really have to teach basic obedience skills or it is just life's going to be miserable.
Yeah, that's fortunately where we come in for a lot of those people. Now being in LA, would you say that you see more small dogs or big dogs? I know you said you used to see a bunch of small and then there was a shift. So where are we at right now? Or is it kind of a good combination?
It's a good combination because you've got a lot of people that got those little dogs and they still have them, which is a good thing. But now people, which I am so grateful for, are really into adopting dogs. And so you see a lot of people that are adopting bigger dogs, mid-sized dogs, and 2 and 3 dogs, and rescuing dogs that came from hurricanes or whatever. It's been awesome. So I'm seeing a lot of everything, but a lot of like those hybrids, a lot of doodles. Now everything is a doodle. Everything. Oh, you will love it out here.
Doodles and Pomskis.
So I love the Pomskis.
So what inspired you to write your book? What was the reasoning behind that? Tell us a little bit, like, what's the book about? Who is the book for? Like, who would you recommend reading the book? Just kind of a general thing.
Well, I started writing the book because, first of all, coming into the dog world from being a makeup artist, even though I loved dogs when I was a kid, it was so fun to me, I had no idea what I was getting into, and I had no idea really like how much people love their pets and how it's like universal. It like reaches across all sorts of boundaries. You know, like you can really find that common denominator with somebody who also loves their dog and you love your dog, even though you might not have anything else in common. So
Correct.
Just being like privy to people's lives and how they experience their relationship with their pet, and just the insane things that happened with the dog walkers, with the clients, with just living in LA, coming from the Midwest, which is, you know, like its own book. I wanted to write it because when I told people the stories of the people were like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I'm like, yeah, can you believe this happened or this happened? They're like, you got to write a book. You got to write a book. So it took about 15 years, but
wow.
I started keeping track the funniest things that happened or the most sort of like dramatic things that were happening. And I wrote the book for people that love pets and people that love entrepreneurs and people that just want to hear like sort of a plucky protagonist story about, you know, coming out to LA to pursue a dream and pivoting. You know, that's like what it's all about, you know, pivoting. That's really the takeaway of the book.
Yeah, you definitely have to respect what you did. I mean, I think for anyone to just get up and go and follow a dream, even if it
didn't work out.
Even if it didn't necessarily work out. Yeah, I mean, that's something.
Even if that dream punches you in the face.
Yeah. It takes huge balls to do that for sure.
I mean, she pretty much took a stepping stone and turned it into a building block for her next career, which is awesome. So are you glad kind of in hindsight that it kind of worked out the way it did?
Oh my God, I'm so grateful. Sure. Oh, I thank God every day. Yeah, because, you know, at that moment when Paula was like, are you a professional dog walker? I honestly thought like, okay, just picture I'm being a makeup artist, picture that. And I looked at her, I'm like, come on, like that's going nowhere and you know it. Just
so being honest with yourself.
Yeah. And just being like, okay. And also, you know, justifying, like, she's asking me if I'm a professional dog walker. I'm giving off that vibe to her and justifying by saying this girl, she gave me a little extra money for walking her dog. That does make me a professional, like something. And also the other thought was, how hard could it be? I mean, it's sort of in my basic opinion, when I first started, like, this is unskilled labor. I can do this. I can YouTube videos. Like, what do I have to do here? And I was so lucky that I said yes to her and that she asked me that straight up question. And I never got another call again for doing makeup on a film, a trade for print.
Oh, wow. So that was it.
Nothing. I couldn't believe it. Like once I opened myself up to the dogs, it was like the floodgates opened and like my phone was ringing off the hook. I didn't even have a business card and people would call me and be like, yeah, I heard you're a dog walker. Can you come walk my dog?
That's awesome.
And yeah, I'm just knocking on wood now. So grateful that it did. Like so grateful, right place, right time.
Well, it's, you know, one of my favorite sayings that says, you know, if opportunity's not knocking, it's maybe because you didn't take the time to build a door. So
deep.
But it's true, you know, sometimes
trademark.
Yeah, but it's true. So yeah, that's awesome. So it kind of, everything just kind of lined up in the right place, right time, right scenario and just worked out. And that's amazing. I feel like a lot of great businesses and great ideas from people come from that. They come from necessity or, you know, like I love watching Shark Tank. That's one of my favorite shows. And you see that a lot. They're like, oh, well, I needed this and no one had it. So I invented it for myself. And then, you know, now it's a multi-million-dollar business. So that's awesome that it worked out that way for you.
I know exactly what you're talking about. You say Shark Tank and that didn't even give me a side pain like it usually does. I actually invented a dog product along the way. So thinking about necessity's mother of invention, when I was walking dogs in the valley one day and picking up the poop, like I don't know if trainers have to, but pick up the poop and lo and behold, put my hand through the bag and touch the poop and grab. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like, I'm like, now I have like dog shit on my hand. I'm dying. So I walk like a surgeon to my client's house. I get back in. I like put bleach on my hands, wash my hands. I'm like, oh, this was the first moment of my life. I can't believe that happened. And I had that light bulb moment where I'm like, hey, you know, I have like a plastic bag holder for dog poop. Why don't I like put wipes on it? Like that seemed like the natural evolution of the product. So I invented a product called the Doggy Do-All, and it's a dog leash attachment that has bags and wipes. So in that whole business, I tried to get on Shark Tank.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this is many years ago. Go make the video, get an audition. They're like, great, we love it, but you need some proven sales. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. So I go do marketing, sell it, get it on Amazon, get it into stores, go back to Shark Tank. They're like, we have too many pet products.
Oh, no way. What assholes.
I know, thank you.
I never liked that Kevin guy anyway.
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, the thing is, like, when I was inventing the product, everyone would say that to me, go on Shark Tank. Listen, that's one way, but it's not the only way. If you're passionate, you believe in your product, there's so many ways.
Yeah, you can make anything work. I mean,
you can do anything, right?
Yeah, there was millions of businesses and inventions before the 9 years that Shark Tank's been around, so.
So Laura, what's the wildest and craziest thing that has ever happened to you while walking a dog?
Maybe it's an excerpt from your book.
Or pet sitting.
It's actually a sad story, but now that I've had some time away from it, a dog actually died while I was watching it.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's the worst thing that you can ever imagine happening, and even worse than that is the clients kind of thought that the dog might die while they were gone, but I never saw it coming. So this was a 17-year-old golden retriever.
Wow.
He was owned by two of the most powerful, wealthiest attorneys in LA. And I was sitting for him up in this gated community. He had had multiple open heart surgeries. He had the best Dr. Cedars-Sinai. I mean, he was the golden boy. He was staying alive forever. And this couple had only daughters and this dog. His name was Ralph. And they were going to their first daughter's wedding in Hawaii. And they're like, hey, come stay at the house. Take care of Ralph. And I loved him. I knew him since he was like a little dog. So I never saw him dying. This is the thing, like, still think about it. Like, I never thought he might just die because I've gotten so used to people saying, okay, this is the last day. You want to be here. You want to say goodbye. You want to just, have some closure, Laura. We want to let you know we're putting the dog to sleep or transitioning, whatever.
Correct.
So I get so used to that kind of like forgot that a dog can just go to sleep and never wake up.
Just like people.
Just like people, right? You forget that habit. I don't know. So I'm at their house and I'm like enjoying all the amenities of their house, right? It's totally fine. He's getting his 25 pills a day. He's getting his organic holistic chicken that I'm warming up to the perfect temperature and spoon feeding him. Like everything's going great. And I sit down to watch a movie. I'll never forget because the movie was Constantine. And I'm watching the movie and I get up to go make a drink. And the dog's laying right in the spot where you have to step over him. And as I'm stepping over him, I look down at him and his eyes are just staring out in space. And I'm like, wow, man, don't lay there like that. Kind of looks like you're dead. And then I'm like, oh my God, could the dog? So then immediately I get down there, I'm looking at the dog and I'm like, oh God, the dog has died. The dog just lay down and went for a nap.
Wow.
And never woke. And I was like freaking out. Totally freaking out. Like, what do I do? Why did this happen? Can I bring him back to life? So I'm looking at him and I'm like, should I do CPR? And I'm like, you know what? He's not coming back. Like, I just could tell the dog was gone.
He's like 100 too.
He's like, right? So I'm like, oh, now what do I do? Well, the people were in Hawaii. Their daughter was getting married. It was early, it was a couple hours earlier. So I'm like, and the wedding was that night.
Oh, no.
You're about to ruin their day.
I know. So, that was my big dilemma. Like, should I just wait tomorrow and tell him tomorrow after the wedding, or do I tell him now and get it over with? And then, and I kind of describe it in the book, for like an hour, I'm like running around the house like a maniac, like, what do I do? What do I do? Why did this happen? I can't believe this. And then also like, if you could just come back to life till tomorrow, that would be amazing. Like, it was just like an incredibly horrible situation. So finally woke up, got the courage to call the client. So I call them and the guy answers and, he's very calm. And I'm like, hey, I got some bad news for you. And he just goes, what's that? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, I don't know how to tell you this, but your dog died. And without even a breath, he goes, how did that happen?
What?
And I'm like, he stopped breathing. His heart's not beating anymore. I was like, oh my God, this is going so bad. I know they think I had something to do with it, right? That's where your mind goes.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I have nothing to do with it. He was just laying there. He's like, tell me exactly what you were doing when the dog passed away. And I was like, God, I can't tell him I was watching TV. So I was like, I was meditating when it happened.
I was meditating.
These big, like, lies because I don't want to look bad.
I was getting his bubble bath ready.
And his filet mignon. I was prepping his filet mignon for dinner.
I'm brushing him. So that was probably the most cookiest thing that ever happened. And I wrote about it, and the name of the chapter is called Your Dog Died. And I think that was probably like the most like phenomenal thing that happened because, again, never saw it coming.
Yeah.
Thought like, oh my God, the dog might actually die. And he did. He just died.
Yeah, that's absolutely awful. I mean, it's
pretty much worst case scenario.
That is a shitty story, Laura.
Yeah, it's worst case scenario.
So I got
the chapter. Like, the thing is, I was okay. You guys can read between the lines here, but I was really enjoying the house. Like,
it probably doesn't help that he was like this big time attorney either.
I'm sure they had cameras.
You're like, even though the dog's dead, I can stay here for the next 2 weeks and check your mail.
They saw you watching TV.
Yeah. It's like, all this food you left for me, can I just take that with me, or is that too soon? Is it too soon to ask that, or are we good?
Like, will you stay at the house for, for the rest of the time? We don't, we feel really bad that this happened. Can you just continue to stay there? And I was like, okay. But after that, I was like, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah. It's like, I'm still getting paid, right? I mean,
make the money back.
Hate to ruin your day, but anyway. So, another question for you, more, towards, our listeners. John and Sue are going out of town, going on a vacation, and they're considering hiring a pet sitter to come stay at their crib.
Their crib.
What do they do? Give them some advice.
Well, here, I would, if you allow, I would think this would be a better question is John and Sue's considering going out of town. They're considering boarding their dog at a facility or pet sitting. What would you say is a benefit to pet sitting?
Oh, you mean like instead of taking the dog to a place, have the dog stay at home and then like have people visit the dog or stay overnight?
Correct.
Well, it depends on the dog. And it depends on the facility. So I do private boarding in my home. I don't take more than 6 dogs. I have a couple dogs here and they all know each other. It depends on your dog. So if there's more than one pet in the house, I'd say definitely consider leaving the dog at home because now it has its friend. It has the smell of you there. It knows its surroundings. It's going to feel very comfortable in that space because you're going to have a pet sitter come at least 2 times a day and maybe sleep over, and that dog's going to be happy to be at home.
Yeah.
If it's a single dog and a younger dog, hey, it might like going to a facility. Some of these facilities, I know I have one right down the street from me, they have a pool. They have like...
All right, we lost Laura. We'll get her back on here, guys. No worries. So... pretty interesting, stuff she's talking about, right? I mean, she's trained for some of the biggest celebrities, Jim Carrey, Dr. Dre, and, it's kind of all by mistake.
With my humor and freestyles, I feel like I'm kind of a Jim Carrey Dre combo, like the best of both. What do you think?
Yeah, Sean, I'll let Sean answer that. Sean, what do you think, Sean? He's shaking his head no. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty impressed with, kind of
she turned adversity around.
The client.
I love that.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a big deal.
I think that's one of the most impressive things because a lot of times when people get like slapped down, they get punched in the face by life's fucking hovering over them, choking them out. A lot of people tap out. A lot of people give up. They go into depression, they move on, they sulk, they feel sorry for themselves. And I mean, I feel like we see that a lot where she did the opposite, which is actually the right thing to do is turn it around.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And make a pro out of a con.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we may have her back on. Laura, you there?
Yeah.
Hey, we lost you. Sorry about that. It's modern day technology. What are you going to do about it, right?
There's a no in technology.
Absolutely.
So you were talking about, the boarding place, down from you is like a 5-star resort for dogs with spas, manicures, pedicures, swimming pools.
We lost her again. That's all right. We're just going to keep going with the show. So what were you saying about like as far as the entrepreneurship of her leaving Chicago? I mean that really does. It takes a lot of balls.
It does. I mean, because we know. I mean, everyone in this room knows, and a lot of people out there know how difficult entrepreneurship is. It's not an easy thing, regardless of what you're doing. Whether you own your own dog training business, whether you own your own pet sitting business, whether you own Apple. I mean, no matter what, if you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna face challenges on a daily, at least a weekly basis, and it takes a lot of resilience. I mean, it's easy to give up and go back to what's safe and what's comfortable and what's guaranteed a paycheck every 2 weeks just by showing up. So just uprooting and taking a chance, not even having something lined up, just taking a chance and going like, all right, you know what? Screw it. I'm leaving Chicago. I'm going to go to Hollywood. I'm going to make it as a top makeup artist in Hollywood, and celebrities are going to be beating down my door, and then to get hit with reality.
And what's crazy is because you hear about that kind of stuff all the time, how people just kind of up and leave to go follow their dreams out in LA. And I mean,
90% of people, it doesn't work out.
No, they end up as waiters.
Yeah. I mean, as you know, I'm literally in Hollywood every month, I feel like, at this point. And, so I talked to a lot of my clients about it and talked to a lot of different people about it. And 90% of the time it doesn't work out. And the crazy thing to me is I feel like a lot of these people that go out there, they know that too.
Yeah.
But they think like, I'm going to be that 10% that does make it. And some of them do. Yeah. Some of them don't.
And in her case, she went out for something completely fucking different, right? She went out there to be a makeup artist.
To take care of people.
For the stars, and ends up, finding this crazy passion she probably didn't even know she had.
Yeah.
And, ends up making a living out of it, and being a pretty big deal, about it too, writing a book. And I mean, that's big stuff. That's big time. So definitely commendable. Laura, we have you back on. I am so sorry. I'm not totally sure what's going on with the connection between us, but, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. We got you. We got you back. So sorry. Go ahead and finish what you were,
pet sitting versus boarding.
Yep.
So, just the takeaway there is it depends on the dog, and it depends on, how comfortable you are leaving your house to its own, its own whims while you're gone. I think it's a good idea to have somebody come by, even if you put your dog in boarding, because, if there's a lot of break-ins and a lot of stuff that can happen when nobody's home.
So do you ever have that? Do you ever do house sitting or pet sitting without a pet?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do.
That's
crazy?
awesome.
I do.
So you're doing pet sitting with no pet?
Yeah, it's like house sitting.
Yeah.
I had a client who went to Thailand for a couple months, and he's like, just come by. I'll pay you every other day, water my plants, bring the mail in, just flush the toilets. I guess that was a thing in the past where people's plumbing didn't work if you didn't use it. And so I would do that and just kind of watch out for the house. And I think that's a legitimate thing to do, especially because,
I can see that.
It's like there's crime, houses, and they, even though you have an alarm system. Look, I had a client who went out of town once, and I went over to his house to check it out, and his garage door was open. I was like, what is going on with the garage door? Well, it turned out the neighbor got a new garage remote, and their frequencies were the same. And every time neighbor opened his garage door, my client's garage door flung open too, and you could get right into the house.
That actually happens?
I didn't think yet.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I could see it, yeah.
Dude, it's 2018. Like, clearly there should be something.
So right now we go to Sears, buy a remote, we can drive in there.
Well, no, that's not what she's saying. It's kind of like e-collar frequencies. It's a randomization, a sequence of numbers. So you have like, a 30,000 chance of it happening.
Right, but it's possible.
Yeah, it's still possible for sure. I think it's possible with kind of anything like car beeper things. I mean, it's a frequency. So I think it's rare, but it's definitely possible to have that happen. Really quick, because I'm actually interested in this, because I've obviously never had a dog walker or pet sitter or anything. Because when I leave town, and we're all leaving and I have the dogs. Usually Joe is my free pet sitter. But
he thinks he's getting that bill. Don't worry. They're adding up over the years.
But not to give Joe any ideas, cause now he's going to invoice me after the show. But, what is an average cost to have a pet sitter, like stay at the home overnight? And what is an average cost for, like, if I wanted to have you or one of your walkers to come and walk my dog? And I know it's different, business to business, but what would you say is the average kind of standardized cost throughout the U.S. for pet sitting and dog walking?
So overnight stays in people's homes start at $100 a night. Like that's just one dog, 24-hour stay. It starts at $100 a night. So you add pets, you add ancillaries, like lots of stuff that you have to do. It
can go up from there.
Yeah. And then for dog walking, I have a puppy program. It's like $20 for 20 minutes, and that's the minimum. But then most walks are like $35 for a half hour.
Okay. So you're looking at about $100. Someone comes, stay at your house, take care of your dog and its environment. And then $35 or so, per day per walk, essentially.
It's per walk, yeah. So, and usually the walks are like 30 to 45 minutes. And then if you add a dog, it's usually an extra $5. And, I do all sorts of stuff for clients. So you prepay for a package of 10, you get one free. If you rescued your dog, I don't charge for that dog as long as it's not a dick.
Fair.
Like, when you're the owner, you can do, I'm sure you guys do this stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Make all sorts of, deals and
exceptions
just exceptions. You have a client who gives you a lot of referrals. You're going to keep that person's rate low. So, and also I'm dealing with a lot of competition from apps. I don't know if you guys.
Oh, like Rover, stuff like that.
Rover, Dog Vacay, Wag.com, like these on-demand dog walking companies, they're like the Uber for dog walkers.
Yeah.
So, but I gotta tell you, my clientele is a certain demographic. Maybe they're skewing a little older. They don't want a stranger showing up at their house to walk their dog. They're like, no way. I would never do that.
What? I mean, I'm kind of younger and I don't feel like I would want that.
Yeah.
Would you want that, Joe? Just
no.
A random stranger off the internet showing up to your house to walk your dog?
Fuck no. We have to sit down for an hour interview.
Like personal, like referred or something by someone.
And I'm doing a background check.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
And a strip search.
It's important. Yeah.
I feel like you have to trust your dog walker. They're coming into your house. That's your shit, right? All your personal stuff in there. And, you're hoping that all
of your money or lack thereof.
Yeah.
In Joe's case.
Yeah, in my case, lack thereof. And you're hoping.
I'm with you, Joe.
Yeah. And you're hoping that they don't fuck with, your food and,
Joe's afraid they're raiding his fridge. We know where his priorities are.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want them to take
like
anything.
Them chicken fajitas were supposed to be for dinner tonight.
Yep. So I could totally see how actually knowing.
Yeah.
Your dog walker and it being
having a relationship with them.
Right. And it being consistent can definitely, stand out over, sites like Rover.com. Even though we did just kind of fuck that up if they were to ever sponsor our show or reach out to us. So, oh well. Can't do anything about that. So.
I actually partnered with WAG because the thing was, I don't have that. That's just like, that's not the core of my business. I don't do on-demand dog walking, and actually just had to explain that to a client who was just canceling and rescheduling all the time. I'm like, you need an on-demand dog walker. I don't do on-demand.
Yeah.
Like all the people that work for me, they're scheduled, and if you cancel, they're going to the next client. And then if you say come back at 4 because 11's not going to work, that doesn't work for them. They're already scheduled to be walking another dog at
Correct.
the time. So I kind of just said, here's my affiliate link for wag.com, and you call them and you'll be perfect. It'll be a match made in heaven. But for me, for my pet sitter who comes to my house, she's been one of my best dog walkers for years. She loves my dog Dexter, and my dog Dexter is questionable. So, she loves him. I wouldn't just get somebody who I didn't know to show up, even though when I did the partnership with WAG, I'm like, let me try it. And the first thing they did was send a guy, and my dog doesn't like men. So I'm like, oh, this isn't going to work. You have to send a woman. And even when the woman came, he was looking at me like, who is this person?
The woman's like, get your ass over here, Dexter.
Get over here, you stupid little dog. And that's another concern too. It's like, it's not just meeting the person and trusting them in your house, but it's also trusting them with your dog.
Yeah.
like, what if your dog is acting like a dick that day and your dog walker had an argument with, with his wife or her husband, and, it's not, that's shit you gotta really be careful. But I mean, I guess
and I was gonna say, and to play devil's advocate,
that's in everything
for everyone out there, is I'm sure there's a lot, that are amazing too.
Oh yeah.
So we don't want to paint a picture that like everyone showing up from these apps are like criminals that's gonna just beat your dog and then leave.
No,
I think
that's a fair assessment.
I'm sure most of the people there truly enjoy and love dogs.
Kidding. Yeah, I'm kidding.
Hey, I've tried to steal a couple of them for my company. Trust me. When they send me a good one, I'm like, hey, are you getting enough work with this app? I mean, you need
and see, that's what I mean. I'm sure there's a lot of really good people on there as well.
Well, consider yourself off those apps now, Laura.
I'm kicked off. It's fine. It's all good. You know what? The thing about dog walking, pet sitting is, like, I teach a class out here in LA. There's enough business for everyone.
Of course.
That's the thing when dog walkers come along and then all of a sudden they snake a client, or they're like, hey, I'm starting my own dog walking business. I'm going to take a couple of your clients with me. I'm like, you didn't have to do that because there's so much business. I don't handle like all the areas in LA. LA is massive.
Yeah.
I'll give you a client. The next client that calls that's out of my like territory, you can have the client in Simi Valley. You can have the client in Camarillo. Like, I don't go there, get that client and get it.
Yeah.
But people, they don't want to be upfront, or they want to be, devious, and they think, oh, I'm going to start my own business by stealing yours. You don't have to do that. There's tons of dog walking out here. Just make a flyer and go after it. You will be busy, trust me.
Yeah, the world of dog training is no different. I mean, we see that in our field as well. As I always say, I feel like a lot of the trainers I meet feel like the dog they just booked or are trying to book is the last fucking dog left in the entire world, and they need it for themselves. So
That's how y'all make it.
I also feel like for those aspiring to be dog trainers that have zero experience, I feel like this is a good field for them to get into.
Yeah. Start teaching them like dog behavior.
Yeah, they're going to learn dog behavior. They're going to learn, communication,
handling dogs,
handling all that.
Different breeds.
Yeah. Would you agree with that, Laura?
Absolutely. And, before, I don't know how it is now, but like, is there a direct route to become a dog trainer? People ask me that all the time. Like, Laura, I really like working with there's a couple places here that offer, dog training classes, but they're not getting them to the level that you guys are at. That's just like, okay, Fluffy can sit and stay with a treat in my hand, but like, how would somebody get to where you guys are at?
I think it kind of depends on, where you want to go with it. Like, if you want to work for a company like ours, we don't just say, hey, you want to be a dog trainer? Come on.
Here's a job.
I mean, we do a pretty, extensive background, to make sure that they can handle it, because it's not a job for everyone.
It's like, it's like you said earlier, Laura, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like literally it's a lifestyle.
Especially with us, it's a 24/7 lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, our trainers are bringing their dogs home. So I think it depends on what level they want to go to. If they just want to kind of
a hobbyist,
yeah,
or a lifestyle is what I would say.
Right. You have PetSmart, to where you're going to show up 9 to 5, and then when you go home, it's over. You have Offleash canine training, where it's going to literally,
it's never over.
It's going to consume every second of your life.
Right.
And you got to make sure you have the passion for
and
it.
I was going to say that's a good point, and I think you would agree, even in your field, Laura, is a lot of it is, do you have the passion, or do you just want to get paid? I mean, that's really what I feel like it comes down to the people that really make it. And I feel like that's true in any field.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you're electronics,
we had this discussion,
whether you're a computer guy, is you got to have the work ethic, but everyone I know that's successful in this field truly, truly has the passion. And even if they didn't need or want money, they would still do it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what separates the people. So those are the people that I look for in Off-Leash Canine, is the people that even if they had all the money in the world, they would still say, I still want to work with dogs. So.
Yeah, and even if after the passion is found and you realize that you do have the passion, you do want to do this, then my advice would be to find a mentor, find somebody who's really, really good at training dogs, and don't ask for them to hire you. Just ask for, them to, for you to tag along.
Can I shadow you?
Clean the shit up after the dogs, do whatever you can to help them so you can learn.
We've had some trainers start off that way ourselves.
We've had several, yeah.
They start off cleaning kennels or, picking up shit or literally.
Just to learn, yeah.
And now they own locations and, are some of our best trainers, so.
Awesome. But that's the way, what you said to that point is so important. It's like, it's the passion.
Yeah.
If I get somebody who wants to be a dog walker and they're like, how much do I get? How often do you PayPal me? Like, do you take Venmo? How will I get paid? How much is it? And they're just so focused and driven by the money. Then I'm like, oh, this is going to be a terrible fit. But I get people all the time who are like, oh, I just love the dogs. I just, I don't care how much you pay me. I can't have a dog. I really miss having a dog in my life. If you could just hook me up with a couple dogs, I'd be really happy.
That's the people that you want. Yeah.
That's what you want. Absolutely. It's the passion. But see, I will hire people without experience because I can train them how to okay, this is how you walk the dog. And I know the dog is pretty easy to just going to be happy to go on a walk. But will you guys hire somebody that doesn't have any experience and just say, okay, just muck out the kennels first?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some of our best trainers in the entire company have started off with people with zero previous experience. Because sometimes experience, people are always like, oh, I'm looking for experience, but they don't realize a lot of experience is bad experience.
Yes. They're set in their ways.
Yeah. It's like, I've trained dogs very shitty for the last 7 years, but hey, I have 7 years experience. So it's kind of like what you said is a lot of the times, and not always, but a lot of the times I would rather have someone that has a passion and interest in dogs, and me teach them the right way from the beginning. So now that's the only way they know. It's kind of like I was in the Marine Corps, and when we get into firearms, like the shooting on the range and stuff, the firearms instructors will tell you that a lot of the best shooters on the rifle range are females, and it's because they have no previous firearm or shooting experience. So all they know is what those expert firearms instructors taught them. So that's all they know. Where I grew up in Ohio shooting and hunting with my dad. So I have 15 years experience. And they're like, well, forget all the ways that you were taught to set your sights and hold your rifle and breathing and all that, because all that shit and your dad didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. and now here's the right way to do it. But I still have 15 years experience of doing it that way and 4 days experience of doing it the right way, the way that they are showing us. So I personally feel like I would almost, in a lot of cases, rather take someone that just have the true passion and interest and just have them shadow me and me teach them. So now the only way that they know is the way that I've taught them, and they don't have other ways of doing it that are wrong or messed up. But we've seen the same from the other side too. People that have came in with experience and do amazing. So
it's throwing darts.
Yeah, that's what me and Joe always joke about when it comes to hiring new trainers is, cause we have 135 locations now and 360 trainers in the US. And, people's like, how do you find people? What's the best way? And, my running joke that's kind of not a joke is I say, all right, take all the resumes that you get, print them off. You with me so far? And they're like, yeah, print them all off. And I'm like, now tape them all to a wall and then have a friend blindfold you, throw a dart, and whatever resume that dart sticks to, that's who you hire to be your next trainer. And I feel like that's just as good of a way to evaluate as any way that we've tried in the past, because we've brought in people with no experience and did amazing. And we've brought in people with a lot of experience and they were shit. So
and vice versa.
And vice versa, yeah. So
yeah, you can never tell. It's total crap.
Yeah, you just don't know.
Right about the dart thing. Yeah, you can never tell.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it comes down to work ethic as well.
Yeah, work ethic and passion are two things you have to have in any business to be successful.
Yeah,
I've never known someone that did amazingly well that was lazy and hated it.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like, I hate this and I have zero work ethic, but I'm the best in the world at it. Yeah. I've literally never met anyone in my life that fit that. So my thing is you have to have passion, you have to have a work ethic, but you don't know if the person has either of those until you give them the opportunity. So hopefully that kind of answers your question, and a long answer is that yes, we have and will take people with zero experience whatsoever, and some of them have done amazing. like top 10 in the company. And some of them have been shit, like bottom 10 in the company. So that's why I use the throw a dart at a board, because I've learned that there's really no way to know until you put that person out there and see what they do. Have you found that the same in your business, or is it a little different?
Absolutely. It's a little different because, you know, my area of expertise is not that like a drill down. Like, you guys have to know what you're doing. You're, you know, highly skilled, and you're kind of offering a whole nother level of training, the off-leash, the e-collars. That's totally out of like we're doing like basic obedience leash training.
Yeah.
But I do have people come to me all the time. This woman came to me and she's like, I really want to be a trainer. I want to train police dogs. How would I even do that? And I said, you know what? I don't even know how.
Tell her off-leash canine training.
So I'm really glad to have this conversation with you, because I do have a couple people who I know. I'm not going to start bombarding you with resumes from my friends and family who want to be dog trainers, but
no, send them.
I do have people who are like, how do I do that? And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. So this is good education for me, because I never did know. And again, what you guys are doing, I really admire all your location and your success. Congratulations. I mean,
Thank you.
I watch your videos too. It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing that you can just train a dog and get the dog to be so competent and just have that like amazing, like, you know, world record down from 350 yards or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, that's incredible. Like, really, hats off to you guys.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. So what do you have coming up? What's next for you? Are you looking to expand or
add more locations? Just go with what you got. What's on the horizon?
Movie. I'd like to make the book into a script, into a movie.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a huge goal. That's awesome.
You should, can I give you some advice?
Yeah, sure.
Nick and I, and maybe Sean, we should probably be in that movie in some form or another. Maybe just the guys off leash walking their dogs in the background.
I want to be Nick White playing Nick White.
Deep. I want to be Joe Zitzelberger playing Johnny Depp if possible. Or Dr. Dre. That's cool. I could be the Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre playing you.
Yeah. Ooh.
He's Joe Zitzelberger in the movie.
I will put you all in the movie. Yeah, well, okay, so you guys saw Bridesmaids. I'm sure you saw Bridesmaids. So I kind of picture the movie like Bridesmaids, but it's going to be called Dog Walkers, and it's going to be like that, but it's going to be funny. You know, the thing, and most of it will focus on like the hiring of the people, and like everyone's kind of a character. And, like I've had so many characters, but I have a funny little thing. Like, this little girl kept calling me. She wanted the job so much. And I was like, you gotta be like old enough to drive. You know, you can't take your bike. She was like, you know, like 11. And she was like, I really want to do it. I want to be a dog walker. And I was like, okay, well, it's, you know, you're just too little. Like, you can start this. I'm sure you'll be my biggest competitor, you know, next year. Just ask your mom, you know, help you out. So I ran an ad. I run my ads on Craigslist, and this person called, and it turned out this little girl had a voice changer. And when I went to the meeting, she was sitting there with her mom, and she's like, I know I tricked you, but I really want a shot. Like, I really want to try. I'm like, you're kidding me. Like, this kid got a voice changer so she can convince me to like go and interview her for this job.
That's the passion and interest I want.
respect the shit out of that 11-year-old. Yeah. That is amazing.
I'm looking around Starbucks like, who could it be? And the little girl's like, hi. And I'm like, no way. What?
that is so awesome. So how old was she?
She was 11.
That's so awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
She's going in the movie.
Nice.
So, that's where I'm going with it. I want it to be fun. I want it to be like, you know, plucky protagonist comes out to LA, has her ass handed to her, and then becomes a dog walker, and, you know, the ups and downs, but a feel-good movie with lots of dogs.
So where are you at with it? Is it right now just kind of like
conceptual?
Yeah.
A script. I have a script right
nice.
now. So, yes, I've been working on the script. I actually wrote the script before it. Well, kind of at the same time I was writing the book, I thought, well, I'll write the script, and I wrote the script, and then I've been working on the script, but I thought, well, get the book out for God's sakes, you know, because of this big thing right now is like people are turning a lot of, you know, books into movies. So I got the book out, and now I'm like, go back to work on the script. And my husband's actually in the film industry. He's a film editor.
Wow.
So last film he cut was with Marlon Wayans for Netflix. So I think it'll happen. Like, I'm pretty excited about it.
Nice.
So that's where I want to go with it. Like, I really want to like get the movie made. Like for me, and my daughter owns my second location in the marina, and she's 28. She can, take the reins and run with it. And I'm happy with the little business I have, but like I'm pivoting again, and I feel like totally amazing good about it. Like I'm kind of at the point where I'm ready to like embrace the movie making now, the magic.
Very cool.
So you're circling back to the whole Hollywood thing that you originally went out there for, coming full circle.
It's so coming full circle, but the more I got away from it and the more I had like that perspective and all this experience with the pets, it's given me like fresh eyes to go back to it, and not with any bitterness or disappointment, but like now I'm back to it and I'm like, I'm back, bitches. Like,
at least you can save money on a makeup artist when you start the movie.
I was actually getting ready to say, so the question remains, when you do the movie, are you going to do the hair and makeup for the actors and actresses?
And only for the dogs.
Nice. So we have posted Laura's link on underneath this live feed.
It's pinned.
Of Offleash Canine Training LLC to find her book, which is The Petsitter's Tale. So go out there, check it out. T-A-L-E. What's that?
I had to say tail, T-A-L-E.
T-A-L-E.
People always say, is it tail or is it tail? And I'm like, no, it's tail, T-A-L-E.
Yep. So we put that link on there. Check that out. Order the book.
And is it on Amazon as well?
Absolutely. Yes, it's on Amazon. And check me out on Twitter, because I love to talk to people on Twitter. And in my book, I say, thanks, Twitter peeps, because I get a lot of people who are very encouraging.
What's your Twitter handle?
Petsitter's Tale.
Same thing. Same as the website?
Yeah. The website's The Petsitter's Tale, and Twitter's just Petsitter's Tale. T-A-L-E.
All right, I just posted that for everyone as well, so they can follow you on Twitter.
Anything else, Laura, that you wanted to announce or plug?
Yeah, if you're looking for dog walking, pet sitting in the Los Angeles area, it's yourdogsbestfriend.org. And that's about it. It's been so much fun to talk to both of you guys, Nick and Joe, and I'm sure I'll be hearing from you again. And yeah, let's talk about that movie. I'd love to get you guys in there. Maybe we can get you some singing parts.
Yeah, shit, we're going to hold you accountable for that.
I'll do the soundtrack for it.
You should have never said that.
Actually,
singing off-leash dog trainers.
I'm going to use my connections, and I feel like Ryan Reynolds playing me would actually be a good fit. Ryan Reynolds or Leonardo DiCaprio playing me would be nice. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah.
You sound convinced about that.
Anyhow, Laura, thank you so much for coming on the show with us today. We appreciate it. We learned a lot, and you're extremely knowledgeable and cool. So we definitely want to thank you.
Oh, thank you. It was great to be on with you guys. I had so much fun. And again, hats off to what you do, because I could never do that. That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much. And we will talk to you soon.
Bye, Laura.
I hope so. Look forward to it. Bye.
Bye.